Hi, my name is Emperiam, and this may be a podcast that I continue making. So stay tuned for more episodes of podcast title that we haven't decided on goes here. Today, I'm going to be talking about my time at All Your Friends Fest because it was a wild weekend filled with so many opportunities that I am blessed and grateful to have. And Michael, my best friend, will be here as well, giving his thoughts and asking me questions because Lord knows I talk and sometimes it needs more clarification. Right, Michael?
Sometimes I'll be here to play devil's advocate and the village idiot.
This was the very first year of All Your Friends Fest, so none of us really knew what to expect, except that the lineup looked absolutely amazing.
Our friends fast.
All Your Friends Fest, all my friends fest, all our friends fest.
I like that naming convention.
Yeah, I'm assuming they got it from like Taking Back Sunday. And you tell all your friends you've got your gun to my head. So was only wishful thinking. I said I wasn't gonna sing, and here I am singing. But yeah, it was the first year, and all of us were really excited because Ontario doesn't have festivals like this, like with this kind of genre and like caliber of people. Usually, if you want to see these kind of shows, you have to go see their own shows when they're on tour. So it was really cool to see all of this kind of happen in one place and not have to travel too far for it, for me, anyways.
So like, who are the artists?
Day one was Billy Talent headlining, and day two was Fall Out Boy headlining.
I
I'm
love
getting,
that.
I know, Fall Out Boy were so good. They were one of the only bands that had like a production, which of course they did.
And I remember you used to have like a huge crush on Pete Wentz. Is that true? Are the accusations true?
The accusations are so true. It's actually really cute. I'll never forget in public school. It was like to the point where people would buy me like candy grams and say like from Pete Wentz because they knew it was that bad. Yeah, it's a little bit embarrassing actually now looking back, but a teenage girl's crush, the power that it holds, if you could like bottle it like Monsters Inc. screams, it could it could run shit. It's scary.
I believe that, honestly. I mean, look at other fandoms like the K-pop stands and things like that.
Yeah, true. People get like right into it.
Right into it. Okay. So how did you like end up hearing about this festival?
I kind of saw it through social media and I contacted them because my content is related to these kinds of bands and this kind of music and these genres. And I was like, hey, if you guys want to have a partnership where I make content for you, I'd love to attend the festival. And they were like, yeah, absolutely. So this was actually my first time being VIP at a festival. And perks are everything.
Wait. So not only was it the first year for the festival,
Mhm.
it also happened to be like the first time you were backstage VIP doing like media stuff.
Correct.
So it's a bunch of
Yes.
firsts for everyone.
It was a bunch of firsts for everyone, and I definitely felt like I gained cool girl status just from this whole experience. I had to at many points, I had to be like, "Be cool. Be cool." Watching people walk by that are in famous bands that you love, and you're like, "Yep. No, it's fine. No, I'm cool. We're chill. Don't worry about it."
I mean, like you've worked with like people that have fame in the past, but like did you have to like work through your fangirl feelings? Like were you having a moment?
Yeah, dude, like, I interviewed Lights, and, like, I've been listening to Lights ever since she started. So, being
February air, babes.
February air she played that song live. She played the song live, and, like, looking at her, she is the cutest, smallest, and just, like, by panic. Just seeing her and talking to her and looking her in the face, I was like, "Yes, I love you so much, and I'm doing my best right now."
Okay, so you got to interview her.
I did, yes. I got to interview Lights, I got to interview All American Rejects and Fifi Dobson. Uh,
Fifi. Oh my
I
god.
know, Canadian legend. I mean, Lights is a Canadian legend too, but
All three of those artists that you've just mentioned are iconic.
in their own ways, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, this festival was really cool in the fact that they brought in a bunch of Canadian artists and made that kind of like a focal point of it. So we love to see it. I forgot how many bands and artists were actually Canadian. I was like, oh yeah, yeah, we made those.
Yeah, well, I feel like just like the music industry, just similar to like the film industry, is really rooted in the United States.
Yeah,
And so, like, if you want to be successful and like get a record deal and stuff, like, sure, we do have Canadian record companies and stuff, but most of the time our artists are exported.
for real. Yeah, same as with acting too. Like if you want to be in bigger productions, you have to go to the States to get that, and then they'll come film in Canada. It's a little bit ass backwards, but it's
And
how it
also,
is.
like, LA is the worst.
I've only been there once and I did not have a good time.
Yeah, I've not heard wonderful things about it necessarily, being the most comfortable place to live.
No, definitely not.
Really
But it
damn
was really
expensive.
it was really cool getting to interview all these artists and getting to ask them questions that I even just had as a fan. So, stay tuned for those. They're coming out. Don't know when.
Okay, wait. So let's backpedal for a minute. So you're backstage
Yes.
and what? They were just like, "Hey, do you wanna interview someone?" Or was this like
It was predetermined. I sent a list, like a wish list to a PR company, and then they reached out to their own liaisons, I guess, the band liaisons, and whoever said yes to you, you got to interview.
oh, okay, so
I don't know what the vetting process was. I'm just some girl on the internet, so I wasn't expecting to get really anybody. So I was super grateful to get the experience of talking to them.
yeah, that's really cool. I'm curious who was on your list that you didn't get to talk to?
I kind of put everybody. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get anyone or who I'm going to get, so I'm just going to shoot. Just going to keep shooting, and whoever says yes, I'll be happy with.
Alright, well, I mean, Lights, Fifi Dobson, and
All American
All
Rejects.
American Rejects
Yeah.
are, like, 3 really large names, actually,
Yeah.
especially for your first time, like, backstage VIP at an event like that.
Well, and seeing like the things come up in my inbox was insane. Like the Fifi one was confirmed first. So I was like, oh, cool. Okay, great. I get to research and dive into, Fifi's history, and you only get a small allotted time. So I kind of had to pick and choose what I wanted to ask her and talk about. So she was first. I knew for sure that I was going to be interviewing her. And then I got the All American Rejects one. I was like, okay, yeah, no, totally. Yeah, totally. Didn't have them on my iPod growing up. This is fine. Cool. Again, I get to dive into their history and see what I want to ask about. And then the day before the festival, I got the email for Lights. And I was like, okay, all right, no, totally cool. We're cool. I can do this. I can do this. Because you kind of feel like an imposter. Like, I personally have loved doing interview content and being able to have that kind of journalism side, but it's just hard to exercise that muscle, especially with content creation, because I don't have, I guess, a publication or a space other than my own Instagram that's like, hey, come here and view these interviews. I've been doing stuff with Emo Night, which is really amazing. We do these chip chat interviews with bands kind of from the Toronto scene. So that was, I feel like, was my in for this festival. So it's like, look, I've done it before and I can do it. Let me do it for you.
Interesting. I wonder how much, like, background information they look up about the people who, like, reach out to be, like, backstage and stuff like
Me
that.
too. Cause like I said, I'm just some girl on the internet. I don't have like a podcast. So now maybe I will. I don't know. Who's to say? But yeah, the imposter syndrome felt so real.
I can understand why you would feel like an imposter, especially if you were, like, backstage with a lot of industry people and just, like, the hustle and bustle of it all would be kind
Hmm.
of overwhelming.
Yeah. And as much as I look like someone who takes up a lot of space and is very like, "Mm," I am not. I feel like I'm chronically in the way and I have the people pleasing tendency. So I'm like, sorry that I exist. Do you know where the washroom is? So
I feel
I'm
like
learning. We're unlearning these things, but it does take time, unfortunately.
yeah. And I feel like also, like, it sounds like you were able to compose yourself fairly professionally.
Yeah.
Didn't fangirl and didn't ask for autographs or anything like that.
No, no, no. Because at the end of the day, like, it is, you have to kind of let yourself feel that excitement because it is exciting, obviously. But at the same time, these are just people. This is just their job. They're put on a pedestal by yourself and by kind of the industry. So once you remember that they're just people, it's a lot easier to be like, oh, okay. I would not recommend not eating breakfast and then consuming a large coffee and then half of a monster because your leg will twitch and your brain will feel like you're being electrocuted. But other than that, it was great.
Well, at least you were like hyped up.
Yeah. Well, you have to have Monster at a pop punk emo festival, when in Rome.
Right.
Mhm.
So obviously, we can't go into details about the interviews because you want to save those. So,
Yes.
like, make sure you go look at those. But, like, of the three of them, is it is it bad to choose a favorite? Who was the best person to interview? Like, who was a good interview?
I think they were all good in their own ways, but Lights definitely was. I'm not even being biased, but like she was just so open and inviting like right off the get-go. Like we kind of had a rapport even before the interview started, which was really nice because I feel like, these artists have to do so many interviews with so many people and a lot of the time I'm sure they get the same questions, which gets a little redundant and the more you answer the same question, the less interested you're in and I didn't want to create that environment. So, I tried to kind of think of other things that maybe they haven't been asked before or kind of elaborating on topics they've talked about.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you're, like, just some random girl from the internet, so they probably didn't expect you to, like, do a bunch of research or anything like that.
Oh, definitely not. My One of my favorite things is to under promise and over deliver. That's just like kind of the way I like to do things, partly because of the imposter syndrome, but also I'm sure they got the call sheet or the sheet or whatever and I was like, okay, Emperium, influencer. I just assumed that I wasn't on a priority list by any means.
I mean, like, maybe you are now.
Maybe one day. Yeah. So because we did the media thing, we got special wristbands and that allowed us so much power, so much access. But again, I was very much like, I will stay in the corner. Sorry that I exist. If you need me, don't. But it was really cool being side stage for Dashboard Confessional.
Oh, yeah, I can
Yeah.
imagine. So who are you there with?
I was there with my videographer and my partner, and then other social media friends that I have because they were doing stuff for their own spaces. And I got to meet an internet friend in real life, and she's amazing. Shout out Jazz. You were actually my inspiration to email the press to get these opportunities in the first place. So
Oh, we love
we
that.
love that. We love Jazz.
And so, okay, so you're there, and so your partner and your videographer and, like, everybody in your party got to go backstage?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
There was
pretty
only two people in my party, so it wasn't a lot,
well, I
but
just kind of assumed that, like, your entourage wouldn't be kind of, like, welcome backstage, but, like,
yeah, no. Honestly, everyone who ran that festival and everyone who we encountered were amazing. You never know who you're going to run into and like what their mood's going to be, how things are going, but everyone that was running All Your Friends Fest made the experience even better.
well, that's good. So it kinda sounds like, as a staff, they were enjoying themselves, having a good time. It wasn't necessarily, like, crazy stressful for them or anything like that. Like, it seemed coordinated and planned out and well organized.
Yeah, and I think because the team was mainly women,
I mean, word.
just putting that out there, just not to make it like a sexist thing, but like women get shit done.
Like, finding a large staff that's predominantly female in an industry like entertainment or an industry specifically like, emo, pop punk kind of
Mhm.
genre of music is kind of unheard of a little bit.
It's it that's the thing, like, it's unheard of, but we are there. We just don't get the same opportunities that, say, a white cis male would get. But besides that fact, everything was great. The media section where we did the interviews, they had created these, like, little mini sets So one of them had like a TV that was staticky with like the All Your Friends Fest logo with like alien balloons. Another one was old school lockers and like Guitar Hero guitars on a wall. So it was like really thought out. Like every little detail was thought about. And as a creator, I really appreciated that.
It's always nice when you go to an event and you can tell that the organizers are, like, passionate about it.
Yeah, they gave a shit. They were like, oh, yeah, no, they're going to be filming here. So let's make it look cute instead of just like, here you go, sit on this couch.
Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back. So, there were some artists who have been around for some time at this
Yeah,
festival, and, like, what was the quality of their performance?
phenomenal. A lot of these bands are almost 2 decades old, so you never kinda know what quality you're going to get, but all of them showed up, showed out, and there wasn't one artist or band where I was like, that could have been a little bit better." No, the energy was there, performance was there. Fall Out Boy's production was amazing. I mean, I'm biased because I'm a big fan, but those little elements really made the festival for me. And one of the funniest moments was Jimmy Eat World covering Taylor Swift. Yeah.
What? I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, it was really cute. Jim came out and he was like, "So we really like to showcase smaller artists, so we're gonna do a cover song." You know when you're like listening to a song and you're like, I I know this song. How do I know this song? And then he comes out with the chorus. We are never, ever, ever. And I was like, no fucking way are they covering Taylor Swift right now.
Small artists, small
Small
independent
artists.
artists.
Yeah, exactly. They were definitely taking the piss, but it was adorable. So the Jimmy Eat World covered that one. And one of the things that I love about Silverstein is no matter where they put on a really good show. The screams are good, the sound quality is good, the band's amazing, and they actually covered One Step Closer by Linkin Park, and it was really good.
Okay, okay. See, I'm not familiar with these particular
I know
artists,
I see your face and you're kinda like,
but
"Right, yeah."
I can appreciate that, an artist who's able to consistently do a performance to a certain quality and level is really impactful to especially to like a festival style show where there's multiple artists and things like that.
Because these bands are as old as they are.
Are they like okay, but are we calling them old?
No, kind of. I mean, a lot of them are in their 40s.
Is that old though? Because like we're getting there.
Listen, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. I am not there yet. But, like, we've grown up with these bands. Like I had them on my iPod. I remember going into iTunes and fixing all of the artist names and getting the album art from Google Images and making sure it was the same album art that matched. Like it needed to be done.
Yes, I used to do that too. And sometimes I would download the album artwork for the special edition, even though I definitely didn't have the special
Oh
edition.
no, you didn't need it. But like, anytime the band name had a the in it, if you didn't have the main, for instance, if you just had main, you'd have a different artist name and then you'd have main, the main. It was a whole thing.
Kids these
Gen
days don't
Kids
know.
these days don't know the struggles that we went through.
Like
The trials and tribulations of being a millennial.
I don't the world of like LimeWire and Napster and all of those things
Yeah.
back in the day.
And the headphones, like the wired headphones, if you ever had a pair that you had to like shimmy and maneuver to get the one sound, or if only one worked and you have just like it dangling.
Yeah, or you used to like run it through underneath your shirt so that it looked
Yes.
cooler.
Do you remember the backpacks that had like the wired thing so you could like do the wire
Yep.
through your back?
Yep. Okay, this is gonna age me, but like I used to walk to elementary school and I had a backpack that had one of those things.
Uphill both ways.
Uphill both ways. um And I literally used to carry a CD Walkman in my backpack with the wire hanging out the back that covered to my ears for when I was walking home from school.
Oh my
And the
god.
CD would skip, and I used to do the cha-cha slide on the way home from school, and then it would
With the
skip
Walkman.
with the Walkman.
Girl.
And it would skip and get stuck on, like, To the left, to the left, to the left.
You're like, I can't go any more left.
Oh, good times, honestly.
Times I remember I didn't have it personally, but the people that had like the Walkman thing where you could put it on your belt.
Yeah, with the clip. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Peak of
And then, like,
technology at the time.
the next step up from that was when they released the iPod Shuffle, and it was so small, it was just, like, the little clippy one.
I don't know how people liked that one. Like I am even to this day a Spotify shuffle person where like I have to go through until it matches the mood that I'm in. I don't know what mood I'm in until a song plays, but I'll know when I hear it. But the people that didn't have a screen and you couldn't see, you had to just hear with the one note, I couldn't do it. I need to see it. With the scrolling wheel, I mean,
The scroll wheel was
yeah,
iconic. They should bring that back. Just saying.
they should. I honestly wonder how we've kind of made everything into one device. If we were to separate it, if that would like make our lives a little easier. Like, do you remember when you had a cell phone and an iPod and you could like leave one of them at home and it would be, like if I could just leave my cell phone part at home but bring my Walkman or my iPod with me on walks instead of just having to like check my phone for notifications all the time. It's like, no, this is just a music device.
Well, have you heard of the concept of a dumb phone? No,
Dumb.
I know it sounds stupid as hell,
So
but
it's just like
actually,
a phone.
it's just a phone, you can text with it.
Why do we have to intelligence shame it?
Well, I think the point is that it's not, like, connected to all of your socials, it's not, like,
Hmm.
doesn't have TikTok on it, you can't scroll on it for endless hours, it's literally
It's
just a
just,
communication device.
yeah.
And then, like, people have been pairing it with, like, old school iPods as an example, things like that.
Not
But,
now, father.
yeah, it's weird. I think we are in this weird stage of not social media, but in technology where, like, everything is amalgamating into one.
It's too much. I miss buttons. Give
Oh my
me like
god,
an
the
actual button. Give
keyboard.
me a crank. Give me a lever.
Crank.
Crunk. Fucking,
Pull the
just
lever.
oh, wrong lever. Yeah, just like give me something tangible. Everything is a touch screen. Like, why have we done this to ourselves? I feel like the next stage of this like, technology society that we're in, we're gonna just separate ourselves from the social media for a little bit, and then we'll all get bored, and then eventually, like, we'll cycle back to
I mean, maybe I feel like asking young people in today's world to give
young
up.
people. Hello, fellow youths.
Youths. Rapskillions.
Rapscallions. Rapscallions. It's tangent on tangent, but you know what? It was from the heart.
It was from the heart, honestly, truthfully. The one thing I will say before we move on, you do not know pain until you switched to an MP3 player, not an iPod, an
Mm.
MP3 player that had the USB built into it. You just plugged the whole thing into the fucking computer, and it could only hold like 15 songs. Do you remember that?
So my dad gifted me for Christmas an iPod.
Oh, okay, so she was fancy.
I was fancy. I'm so sorry. I can't relate to you peasants that only had an MP3 player because I had an iPod Classic and it held, I think, what, 80,000 songs. I'm pretty sure by the end of its life cycle, I had about two movies on there as well, The Dark Knight and I don't know. Probably I do remember watching The Dark Knight on the fucking three
A
by
little like
three
five
screen
by like
and
four
being
by
like,
five.
this is
Honestly, that's giving watching old Pokemon episodes on Game Boy SP.
the tangent aside, uh the bands put on a really good show. The one thing I will say that it was like a common theme that I noticed among some of the frontmen, they were barefoot on these stages. And to me, straight to jail. Why was the decision for shoes to be no shoes on a stage? I watched other performers spit on that stage and I did not see anybody mopping up the stage in between sets. So you're stepping in spit. And I know for some people that's a thing, but I did not consent to be a part of that. Just toes.
You're not a fan of the toes?
I don't put the dogs away, you know? The dogs,
Maybe they were
who
just
let the
trying to
dogs
like
out is my question and why.
it's a valid question, but I mean perhaps they were just trying to appeal to a different audience. Who knows?
I wasn't appealed. I was
Are you the
I was
only target
appalled.
audience that should exist?
Exactly. No, just if you want to, I don't know, Birkenstocks exist, flip flops, flip flop.
That's very true.
just straight toes.
Is there something about, like, being barefoot that's kind of, like, badass and punk?
No.
Okay.
Are you kidding? You're just asking for tetanus. You're asking for warts? Like, coming from someone who had to go get her warts, TMI, taken off because they were so bad, you don't wanna go through that again. A plantar wart can ruin people's lives.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice, exactly.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
It's so topical as well. Yeah, side tangent. I did have to go get some warts looked at because they were taking over my life and hurting my feet. And they used this synthetic beetle venom that I referred to as Beetlejuice. So that was where the Beetlejuice thing came in. Anyway, enough about my warts. But nobody talks about their warts, okay? So I'm just bringing wart awareness to the community. Just being real. Anyways, back to the no shoes thing. Gross. Why?
So we're not a fan. Make sure you wear shoes when you perform.
Yeah. And like, did they get a pedicure beforehand? Doubt it. Doubt it.
Yeah, and that's just, like, fungus.
It just there's a lot of variables that goes into wearing no shoes. And I just, when you have the option, there's so many great shoes to choose from.
That is true.
Yeah. That was my only gripe I had with the festival. Also, no, sorry, I did have another gripe with the festival. They had these carnival rides, which were super cute. They had a Ferris wheel, and then they had tilt-a-whirl, and then one where you were in a little cage and then spun around, and then as you were spinning around, the cage was also spinning. It was like a recipe for vomit.
Oh, like a salt and pepper shaker type thing where it, like, turns, but then you also like, the car also turns?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
okay,
was
yeah.
kinda like reminiscent to the Zipper for all you Simcoe fair goers.
Jeez, Murphy. I I rode off carnival rides a long time ago. There's just something about, like, an amusement park ride, like a roller coaster or what have you, regardless of
Mm.
size, that just, like, shouldn't be disassembled and reassembled weekly. You know what I mean? Like, it
Yeah,
just seems like a bad idea.
like even IKEA furniture, you can't disassemble. That's just that shit's there and that shit's staying like that until you move or leave. But yeah, so they had these really cute rides and there were no like signage, there was no anything. So I, toddled up and was like, "Let's have our cute little kiss on the Ferris wheel, like the OC moment." They come in, you come in, and then you sit down, and then they put the strap over you, and then they take the little square reader and they put it up to you. And I was like, "Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, obviously I'm going to pay for it. I'm stuck here. I'm not just going to be like, "Oh no, sorry."
Wait, so were they, like, charging a fee for you to ride the
Yeah,
amusement
which I
ride, or was it like
understand.
a tip? Where they were
No,
like,
no, no.
"Okay, I got you buckled in, give me
No,
a tip."
girl. It was $18 for the two of us, and there were no single riders. The only signage available was no single riders. So that was the only other gripe. Just add some signage. I don't mind paying for the service, but just let me know ahead of time so I'm not like, oh,
It was
oh,
$18 for the 2 of you?
it was. Yeah,
That's kind of insane.
it was a little much, but
But I mean, like, fun, family fun all around
it
right
was fun.
there.
We got the clips for the gram. So was it worth it? Sort of, I guess. It was a fun little story to talk about afterwards.
Well, that's true.
And on our way from the tent stage to the main stage, it was a little bit of a journey. It was at least like a 5-minute walk or, power
Was
walk.
this at, like, a fairgrounds or something?
It was the same place where they have Boots and Hearts. So it was like a big
Oh,
open
okay.
field. So you had to kind of like run to each stage. But the set times weren't crazy. So you didn't have to like run halfway through someone's set to go and see another person. Like they were kind of on right after each other, which was handy and helpful.
Well, that's nice.
But
Wait,
on my
what?
way, I noticed this top and I was like, "Oh my god, I made that." It was yeah, so for those of you who don't know, I have a small clothing company called Senior that is for emo kids in their adult years, and I started it over the pandemic, and, I noticed one of the shirts that I made was on somebody, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is fucking cool." So I ran up to them and I was like, "Hey, do you mind if I take a picture with you? Like, I'm the one who made the merch that you're wearing." And she was like, "Yeah, of course, absolutely." So it was kind of really cool to have that moment.
Wait, is that the first time you've seen your merch, like, out and about, like, in
In the
public?
wild? Yeah. Yeah.
What? What? And at a major festival like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It was super cool, and she was so cute. She's like, "I've been waiting for you to make more stuff because 'cause I've kinda been behind on that just because life got in the way." She's like, "Yeah, no pressure, but, like, I'm waiting." Like, "Oh,
How validating is it though? Like, I can imagine it's super validating to have someone who's literally wearing your merch to
yeah,
then say like, "Oh, I've been waiting for more."
yeah." I mean, I feel like a piece of shit because I don't know how to fucking run a business, but I mean, as it's just like it's the artist conundrum. Like, I can make the stuff, but it's doing rest of the minutia. Yeah, that was really fucking cool and validating. So, Leanne, thank you for letting me take a picture with you, and thank you for supporting my small little business.
I feel like you need to tell us a little bit more about this small business.
Okay. I work in a lot of different jobs, mostly entertainment based. So when the pandemic happened, that was all taken away from me. So I had to think of ways to continue living in my house and thought to myself, what are my skills? Well, I did go to university for graphic design. Shout out OCAD or not, because you're kind of the worst. But I do have a Bachelor of Fine Arts. So I was like, okay, what can I do graphic design wise to make money?
Weaponize that BFA girl.
Weapon at BFA.
I know.
Sounds so official when you say
I know, right?
it. But no, I was like, okay, I need to think of something. So I started making these silly little designs. I thought I was just going to do stickers. And then I thought, well, what if I just start making like t-shirts and tote bags? So it kind of like grew from there and I just started making more and more designs. And then I had one of my products actually go viral. One of my TikToks hit over 1 million views. And it was the Elder Emo sweater that I created. I learned how to screen print, which was absolutely insane. I had to just figure out how I was going to make money. And so I started learning all of these new skills to get my business going. And that was part of it.
Think that's an important thing to like stress is that, a lot of creators, especially like YouTubers and influencers, they have merch, but they don't actually do anything for it like themselves or it's made by a third party by someone else. You're like actually like sourcing the materials and like screen printing them and like hand finishing them.
Yeah, and like no tea, no shade. I would definitely prefer if I did it in a third party. Just because like I'm so limited to what I can do with the space that I have and the equipment that I have. Never regretted doing that because now I have all of this knowledge of making clothes and knowing what I want it to feel like, what I want it to look like. So I wouldn't take it away, but at this stage I would definitely like it if someone else interested in making it or if I could like get another company to print the stuff because there's just so many other options you can do. But
And it's just a lot of work, right? But, I
yeah,
think that it adds value to your brand in the sense that like you literally have touched every piece of merch that has gone out to
yeah,
someone, which is pretty cool.
blood, sweat, and tears, baby. A lot of tears. A lot of tears.
It happens to the best of us. But where can we find this brand if we're interested in checking it out?
You can find my merch at www.senior.com.
That's SCENEIOR.com.
Yes. Wow. I'm so glad you spelled it right. I was about to go, eh, but no, you got it.
I looked it up earlier.
Perfect. See, you did your research. So yeah, that was a really cool fucking moment. Definitely validating and definitely put a fire under my butt to start thinking about more products. I mean, Halloween is near, which means that Christmas is coming. And I do make emo Christmas ornaments every year. So that's going to
Yes.
be kind of the next big product thing for sure.
Okay, so keep an eye out.
There's still some other stuff on the site too. There's tote bags, there's sweaters. My
Weren't
house is too
you
small.
weren't you also kind of exploring jackets at one point?
Yes. Well, I love a good DIY. Love a good DIY. Crafty girl. I actually used to cosplay, which we'll maybe talk about in another episode if we do this again. So DIYing was like, nothing new to me. So I wanted to make my own series of jackets where I would take some of the band merch that had holes in it or a little bit distressed or didn't fit me the way I wanted to. I wanted to kind of keep that band merch, but make it into something new. So initially, I actually started making corset tops from Nava Rose's pattern that she has on YouTube. Highly recommend. Then I was like, corset tops are kind of, they're not as versatile. Whereas a jacket, you can add and embellish with more things. So I It's another funny story. I made this jacket for myself and I never really thought anything of it. I got compliments on it and I spent a lot of time on it. I found out how to use grommets and all these other new things. But I wore this jacket to the festival. I had no intentions of selling this jacket. And when Jimmy Eat World's set was finished, I was in front of the barricade and I heard, "Hey, hey, yeah, you." And I was like, "What did I do? I'm sorry.
I'm being
I'm being,
accosted.
what's happening?" And this woman runs up to me and she's like, "I love your jacket. I will pay you $500 if you give me your jacket right now." And I was like, "You're kidding. Thank
Wait,
you."
what?
It was a little bit insane. I was like, "Honestly, girl, for $500, I can just make you another one." Because this was like my jacket that I made specifically for myself. And she's like, "No, I want that one." I was like, "Are you sure? Because I'm fine with making you a custom one." She's like, "No, no, I want this jacket."
I mean, in the world of Amazon that we live in with next day delivery, like, I don't blame her, I get it. That's
I
so
it was
cool.
I feel like it was an impulse purchase, but honestly, been there. Been there, been there.
That's so cool, though, like, so literally someone came up and was like, "You, give me the clothes that you're currently wearing."
Yeah, and I was like, "Girl, I've been sweating in this, like, it's a little bit stanky. I don't think I've washed it since I, like, initially dyed it, so it's not in, like, peak condition." And obviously, there was a bunch of things that I did on it that I was like, I don't really like this, but whatever, it looks cool." But she was like, "No, I love it. I love what you did with it. I've never seen a jacket like this, and I need it in my life." So she, on the spot, e-transferred me, and, I went home with no jacket.
For our American friends, e-transfer is equivalent to Venmo.
Oh, is that a thing? They don't have
Yeah.
e-transfer?
No.
What the
That's why
fuck?
they have, like, Venmo and stuff like that because they don't have a way to easily send money to each other.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up.
How are we ahead of you in that?
I don't know. Guys, Canada has had this technology for, like, well over 2 decades at this
Forever.
point. So, but anyways, there you
Anyways,
go.
yeah, she literally bought the jacket off my back, so thank you, Sandy.
So, are you gonna be doing jackets?
Guess now. I guess now. I actually have one that I need to finish. It's like 75% of the way done. So maybe that'll be the new thing on senior. Maybe it won't be. Keep looking back. I don't know.
One more time, that's www.scenior.com.
I love you.
Thoughts overall on the festival? Are you going back next year? Are you gonna be, like, hopefully interviewing more people? Like, what's the deal? What's the situation?
I don't know any of that yet. We don't even know if there is going to be a year two, but fingers crossed there is. And I have absolutely no hesitations about returning next year. If they do return, I cannot wait to see the lineup that they get. Especially with like this emo pop punk resurgence that's kind of happening in the zeitgeist right now. There's a lot of opportunity for a lot of these bands to be kind of returning and going and doing these kinds of shows. So I'm very excited to see what comes next with this.
I'm One thing I'm kind of noticing, this festival is kind of giving me Warp Tour vibes.
Yeah,
Is that the same thing? Like, forgive me, I'm not cultured, I guess.
it's okay, darling. Warp Tour is not a thing anymore, but it does kind of give off the Warp Tour energy a little bit.
Would you say it could be like a spiritual successor to Warp Tour in a way?
Yes, other than the fact that like Warp Tour tickets were, I don't know, 35, $40 to see all these bands, and festivals like this obviously cost a lot more money to make, so the ticket prices have to be a lot higher. I don't know if we'll ever go back to the days of Warp Tour tickets, and like even a lot of the bands that were in Warp Tour, because they are so much more successful than they were back in the day, obviously like their needs have changed and I'm sure their prices have changed. So to say that we'll get something like Warp Tour again is a little bit ambitious, but maybe if we were to stay in the spirit of Warp Tour and bring on maybe new and emerging artists in these types of genres, could be a different story.
Okay, so let's hope, fingers crossed, that there is a second year of the festival next year and hope that you'll be able to do some more interviews because that sounds like fun.
That would be really fun. So yeah, boost up this podcast slash YouTube video to help me out.
Alrighty, well, thank you everybody for tuning in.
Yeah, this is a little experiment. We're just testing it out, you know?
If you like the video, be sure to give it a like and, maybe subscribe.
Smash that subscribe button. Don't forget to like and comment. Sorry, I don't have a YouTube channel that really does that, so I just wanted to get it out of my system.
Is that like Mr. Beast energy or something? Like,
I
what
don't
was
know.
that?
I don't know.
Who
I just wanted
possessed
to-
you just now?
It was just a vessel for, white man podcast energy. I'm holding a microphone, so obviously I'm much more powerful than everyone else.
That's true. Are you offering me money? Do I get to win something?
I thought you were offering me money.
Oh.
You're not getting paid. No one's getting paid for this?
Okay, bye.
Thanks again for joining us on episode 1. Follow me on Insta to get the latest updates, and if you liked this, please show it in the form of liking, commenting, and sharing. Next videos I post will be the interviews with Lights, All American Rejects, and Fifi Dobson. Until we meet again, bye-bye!